Wonderful people, you're welcome back to the channel. This is Yuglo Fashion. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I'll be showing you how to make this short pants with pockets, and this is the fabric I'll be using. I'll be drafting the pattern on this paper, and also for the measurements, this is the measurements I'll be working with. The waist is 30, the hip is 39, the thigh is 24, and the circumference of the nail is 19, and the length of the shorts is 20. So for the crouch, this is how to measure it. So first of all, I label that part W, which is the waist. So from the waist, I measured the hip. I used 9 inches for the hip, and for the crouch, like I showed you earlier, I measured 11 inches. Also, the length is 20. The length of the shorts is 20. Short pants is 20, and I added 2 inches for M. After that, I went ahead to measure half inch at this side, half inch all through, and I ruled that out. The next thing is to measure the thigh. I said the thigh is 24, and I'll be dividing that by 2. So the thigh is divided by 2. 24 divided by 2 is 12. So I'll be measuring that on the crouch. So which means on the crouch, I'll measure the thigh. That is 12 inches. The next thing is to get the hip circumference. So the hip is 39 divided by 4. The reason why the thigh is divided by 2 is, there are 2 separate legs. So you measure for one, you measure for the other. So for the hip, it will go round. So that's why it's divided by 4. So that's 9 divided by 4 is 9.5 inches. So I measured that on the hip length and connect it back to the crouch. So this way, then I will just connect it all through to the waistline. So ensure you blend it well, just the way I'm doing mine. Now after the waist, on the waist rather, I will measure the waist divided by 4 as well. So the waist is 30 divided by 4, that's 7.5. I went ahead to measure the 7.5 as well. So from that point, I'll be connecting it back to the hip length. You can see. Sorry, I'm having issue with the fan, so I've used something to hold it down now. The next thing is to measure the thigh, the nail. So for the nail, I'll first divide the thigh by 2 again with my tape. I folded the tape just to know the middle of the thigh. The thigh is 12, so the middle will definitely be 6. Then I just ruled the middle from the thigh down to the length of down to the M line of the short pants. So for the nail, the circumference of the nail is, since it's not a tight short, is going to be a bit loose. So the circumference is 19. 19 divided by 2 will give 9.5 inches. So I folded the tape again. The 9.5 I folded into 2. So I have 4.75 thereabout. So I placed that the middle directly on the line of the directly on the middle of the tie. I hope you get what I'm doing. Just do it the way I did mine. I don't know how best to explain this. So then I measured the 9 inches on both sides. You know the middle is 4.5. So this side will be 4.5. This other side too will be 4.5. Then I connected it back to the tie circumference. As you can see, I've not measured the hem line. So for the hem line, I'll be folding the paper back. I'll be folding it up. So for this to be easy for me, I had to cut the excess I have there. So then I folded it up and just try to retrace the tie so as to get the hem. Because if I cut it directly like that while stitching, I'll be short of fabric there, so there will be folding. So in order to avoid that, that's why I had to fold the hem line back to the length of the short pants. Now this is everything. The next thing is to add seam allowance, which is ½ inch to the, this is front. So the next thing is to add the seam allowance of ½ inch at the side. So that's what I'm doing right now. Then after the ½ inch, I'll connect the lines. So I'm using my free hand to do the connection. No need of ruler. If you can use your ruler anyways. So that was why I added ½ inch. I first measured ½ inch in the first place. The next thing now is to measure the zipper allowance for the front. So I measured 2 inches. So after that I'll measure 7 inches down. So the 7 inches, I'll be connecting it back to the 2 inches. So this is the zipper allowance for the trouser. Then I'll cut everything out. After cutting at this point at the waist, I'll measure ½ inch. This just to give the waistline a curve shape to balance the waistline. So from that region, I just connected it back with curve shape to the side of the trouser. To the side of the pants, short pants. Now after doing all this, to cut the back, I placed the pattern on another brown paper. Then I left some inches for allowance. Now I will trace out all the pattern on the front bodies, on the front pants. I'll trace it out aside from the zipper area. You know, I added little allowance to the, I left some allowances at the upper side. So that's because the front and the back are not equal. So for the back, for sitting position, so as to avoid your butt showing, so I added 1.5 inches to the back. Then at the side here, I'll be adding 1.5 as well. So the 1.5, the ½ inch will serve as seam allowance. You know, I added half to the front bodies as well. So that will serve as seam allowance. Then the remaining 1 inch is just our usual allowance, so that's why I added 1.5 inches in case if there's any correction needed, so you can work with that remaining 1 inch. After measuring everything, I went ahead to connect them together. Now I connected the middle to the side. So to ensure that what I measure here is really correct, I had to return back the front bodies. I had to shift it back to the side just to ensure that the side is balanced. So I indicated where I started shifting from. So you can see there's a little adjustment there. So I picked my ruler and recorrect that side. So the first one is no more useful, so this is the correct part. Now this is our back pattern. That's back, so I labeled this one to back, and I went ahead to cut them on my fabric. I notched the necessary parts, that is the zipper allowance, and also the hem line, the short pants length. Now to sew, to start my sewing, I cut like 4 pieces for the pockets. Just cut like, let me say 4 by 9 inches for the pocket, and so you can cut 4 by 9 inches or 5 by 9 inches for the pocket. So to get where to fix the pocket, from the side you measure 2.5 inches, and here, sorry, I measured 5 instead of 7. So you measure 7 at the side, then you place your front pattern on the pocket. So to do this, you first fold you can see the four pieces I cut earlier was for the 2 sides of the pocket, so which means for one side I will use 2, for the other side I will use 2. So from the 2 for the first side, I have used 1. Now I folded that one. I folded the 2 inches by 7 inches I measured. I folded that inside, you can see. After folding, I'll be placing this way. So when you are cutting, ensure you cut exactly the shape of the pants at the side. You can see that was why I reshaped the pocket initially. So then you first stitch this side together. Then you stitch the down side of it. Then you turn it to the other side. The part that was folded in, you have to top stitch on it so that it won't disturb while putting your pocket. So after top stitching on that, so you can see this is our pocket. Then you stitch the waistline together with the pocket and also the sides. You stitch the side as well. Now we are done with the pocket of the front. This is the back and the front pattern, the back and the front bodies. So you are going to stitch back and front together now. One piece of the back and one piece of the front. We are done stitching one side. The next thing is to stitch the other side. Just ensure they are well placed on each other. Now we are done with one side of the pants, that is one leg. Then the next thing is to connect the two sides together. So I'm starting from the back. Ensure that they are well connected together, the lines follow each other. So our pant is almost done. After all that, the next thing is to fix the zipper. Then to fix the other side. So please, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so right now. Please subscribe, like, share the video, and if you have any question, you can put it in the comment section. I'll be waiting right there for you. Then after the zipper, the next thing is to fix the band of the trouser. So for the band, I measured 3 inches. I folded 1/4 inch in. I added my paper stitch to this. So I folded 1/4 inch. So I have like 2.5 inches left. And for the waist, you know it's 30, but I used 34. That's because the band side will be lapping on each other. So I folded, this is how to go about it. You start from the wrong side. So I folded like 1/2 inch in and I stitched the two together. So when I get to the other side of the zipper, I folded like 2.5 inch in. You know, I said they are going to lap on each other. So then I stitch on it, then fold it back to the right side and top stitch on it. It is very easy. You can use your iron if this is going to stress you, but if you don't need your iron, you can just top stitch straight on it. Thank you very much for watching this video to the end. The next thing is to fold the hem line. So this is just how to fold it. Then you can iron it first before stitching. Bye.